How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me, as usual, is Leonard. This is a show about pro wrestling, and this week we're going to be bringing you another edition of our Unstable Stables concept, which basically we take a stable or a group of people. We've done lots of different arrangements of talent since we started doing it, and we assemble a list, and then Leonard and I draft them into two teams. And once those teams are assembled, we then have a makeshift wrestling card, and we debate who we think would win, depending on who Leonard and I place in those particular spots.
Mm-hmm.
That will be at the end. And this week, we are going to be doing the Samoan Dynasty, which, as you can expect, is a large stable of sorts. And this particular dynasty, I suppose, started in, at least on the wrestling side, started in 1960, which is when Peter Maivia, High Chief Peter Maivia, debuted when he started his wrestling career. But if you want to talk about when the family that we know of kind of got started, Reverend Amatwana anoa'i, I might be butchering that name, and Peter Maivia were blood brothers, a connection that continued with the Amatwana sons, Afa and Sika, who regarded Peter as their uncle. So that's how it started, and there is a lot of names here, Leonard.
Yeah, so we've got 30 names, including 4 women that we'll be drafting from. So 15 each. There'll be one specific women's match when we get to the card and a slot for a manager. This is not everyone part of the anoa'i. See, I can't say it either, family. Or everyone who's Samoan or Pacific Islander, but everyone who's kind of connected to the family. So here's the draft pool. So we have Afa and Sika, who were the Wild Samoans as a tag team. We have Samu and Manu and L.A. Smooth, who are all sons of Afa. Lance Anoa'i is the son of Samu. Rosie is the son of Sika, as is Roman Reigns. Yokozuna is the nephew of Afa and Sika. So the Samoan Savage, also known as the Tonga Kid, and Tama is the nephew of Afa and Sika as well. Umaga, who also was known as Jamal, is the nephew of Afa and Sika. Rikishi is another nephew. Then we have Jimmy and Jay Uso, who are the sons of Rikishi, as is Solo Sikoa. Jacob Fatu is the son of Tama. We have Peter Maivia, who, as you mentioned, was the blood brother to Afa and Sika's father. Rocky Johnson, the son-in-law of Peter Maivia. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who's the son of Rocky Johnson. Jimmy Snuka, who is married to Peter Maivia's niece. Jimmy Snuka Jr., also known as Deuce, is Jimmy Snuka's son. We have Haku, who The Rock considers to be his quote-unquote uncle. And then Haku's sons, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Haikulio, and or however you say that. And then Haku's nephew, Bad Luck Fail. And then our 4 women, which is Ava Rain, who's the daughter of The Rock, Naomi, who is married to Jay Uso, or Jimmy Uso, Nia Jax, who's the second cousin to The Rock, and Tamina Snuka, who's the daughter of Jimmy Snuka. So there's all the names. And Chad goes first, meaning I will seat first in the card. And I'm thinking there's maybe 2 clear guys who could be number 1 here, but we'll see where you go.
Yeah, I think we know what our number 1 and 2 is going to be, and we'll see if that ends up being our main event. But I'm going to start off with The Rock.
Okay. So I'll go the other clear number 1. I'll go the head of the table. I'll go Roman Reigns.
All right. So let's see here. I did not do a ton of looking past my number 1 pick, but
okay.
But that's all right. That's all right, because we're gonna go with Yokozuna.
Okay, you know what? He was my 3rd. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had him at my 3rd spot. Let's go. I'm gonna go with a rising star. Maybe he's a reach at 2, but I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu.
Oh, okay. That is an interesting pick for sure. I am going to go with Jey Uso.
Jay, if I didn't go Fatu there, I would have went Jay Uso as well. I almost went Jay, but you know what? Personally, between you and me, I like Fatu a little bit better. Personally. I'm going to go with, again, after you get past the first two, it's really like a bunch of people right in the middle. And I'm going to go, just because he's the toughest son of a bitch on the planet, I'm going to go Haku.
All right. That's a good one. I'm anxious to see what our debates are going to be there.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I'm going to go with Rikishi.
Okay, Rikishi would have been within my next couple of picks if you hadn't gotten them. I like Rikishi a lot there. I'm going to go with another rising star. I'm going to go with Solo Sikoa.
All right. You're going for the new bloodline, as it were.
Yes.
All right. I am going to pick Umaga.
Okay. Again, he was right there behind his dad for me. Rikishi was Umaga's dad. We don't even know anymore.
Hold on. No. We can get there. So he is nephew of Afa and Sika.
Okay. See, it gets so convoluted.
He was, of course, in 2-minute warning as Jamal, and
yes.
He was the Intercontinental Champion twice.
Okay, and I am going with. So I got some young guys. I'm going to go with an old guy. I'm going to go with Jimmy Snuka.
All right. In that case, I am going to go with Rocky Johnson.
You know what? Rocky Johnson would have been next for me. We seem to be really close on our thoughts here on this one. I think Rocky's really underrated because so much of his career was like right before the rock and wrestling era. Like so much was right before 85. He gets lost in the shuffle there a little bit, but he deserves it. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'll go with the fathers here. I'm gonna go. Father. I'm gonna go with Afa.
All right. Did you pick Rosie?
Rosie. No, is available.
All right. I'm gonna pick him then.
Okay. And then I will go and take Sika, just so you don't steal his tag partner from me.
Yep. And I will pick Jimmy Uso.
I would have took Jimmy next. You had enough time to get him. Which, I don't know. I'm interested to see if you put them together or not, the way it's gone with them. Next up, let's see here. I'm going to go with... I'm gonna go with Samu.
All right. I am going to pick Peter Maivia.
Okay. I had him a bit lower, but I think that's because I'm just not that familiar with him. But he certainly is a legend and is well known. I'm going to go with Samu and Manu, if memory serves, go together. So I'm just going to take Manu here.
All right. And this is where it gets trickier, Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm going to pick Nia Jax.
She was going to be my next pick. She was going to be, of the women, I think maybe she's just the Samoan refrigerator, as I've heard her referred to, is good. Well, you've got your woman, so there are still 3 women available. So I just need one of them. I'm going to go with, since I've got Jimmy Senior, give me Jimmy Junior. I'm going to take Jimmy Snuka Junior.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see who we have left here. You took Haku. I know that. Did you take any of Haku's sons?
I have not taken any Haku sons yet.
Okay, so let me go with...
I would have, but I have some tag teams. So
let me go with Tonga Loa.
All right, Tonga Loa. And I will go with. Of who's left, I'm going to go with Tama. I love the Islanders, so I'm going to go with Tama.
Tama.
Yeah. That's also what's the Samoan Savage.
Samoan Savage. Where do you?
Well, let me find him here.
Yeah, no, you're right. The Tonga Kid. That's who I know.
Tonga Kid. Tonga Kid.
And
he's had several names.
The stat I have for him is he is a one-time Slammy Award winner.
Yes, but part of the Islanders. Not that I think I'm going to put him with Haku, but I got that.
I'm going to go with Tama Tonga then.
All right. I'm going to go with Tamina Snuka. So I have the entire Snuka family.
Yeah, I don't know what you're planning on there. I'm anxious to see what you're planning on there.
Okay.
All right. So let's recap, Leonard, who we have left here.
All right. So who's left? If I've marked everything right, we have L.A. Smooth, Lance Anoa'i, Haikuleo, Bad Luck Fail, Naomi, and Ava Rain.
Okay. Then I think I am going to go with, let's say, Hikuleo, maybe is how you pronounce that name, although I have no idea. So
no, neither do I. You know what? I'm going to take another lady. I'm going to take Naomi.
That was going to be one of my next picks as well.
All right.
So I will pick Ava Rain.
Okay. So all the women are off the table now. And I'll go L.A. Smooth just because I like the name.
Yeah, L.A. Smooth, also known as the Tahitian Savage. Or
also a good name.
Or another name he was known by, and I have no idea why, Fred Williams. I need to know the history of that. That's what came up on Wikipedia.
All right.
Remember the ECW Samoan Gangster Party? So
yes.
Yeah. Lance Anoa'i, has he been selected yet?
No, you have him. You can have him.
Yeah, why not? Let's pick him.
Okay, then that gives me the last pick. I get Bad Luck Fail.
I think it's just his name that put him there because, he was IWGP Intercontinental Champion, which is, not a small feat.
Yeah, I mean, I know of him, and I know that I think it's the name.
We've talked about him before too.
Yeah. All right. So, old school, keeping it on legal pad. So here we go. Chad has The Rock, Yokozuna, Jey Uso, Rikishi, Umaga, Rocky Johnson, Rosie, Jimmy Uso, Peter Maivia, Nia Jax, Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, Hikikukurahaha, Ava Rain, and Lance Anoa'i, and Wahe. I have Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, Haku, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Snuka, Afa, Sika, Samu, Manu, Jimmy Snuka Jr., Tama, Tamina Snuka, Naomi, L.A. Smooth, and Bad Luck Fail.
All right.
Right. So here's the card. 9 matches. I seed first. We have a singles match, 1-on-1, a 2 versus 2 tag match, our women's match, a fatal 4-way. So I will pick 2. Chad will pick 2. We have the Pacific Rim title, 1-on-1, a 6-man tag, a hardcore match, a Bloodline tag titles match, and the Bloodline world title match.
All right.
So I get to pick first singles match. Looking at, you know what? I'm going to give you a Bad Luck Fail right out of the gate.
All right. Let's see here. I'm going to give you Ava Rain. No, just kidding. Let's see. Who should I actually go with here? This is somewhat confusing. You know what? It's going to be Bad Luck Fail versus Peter Maivia.
Really? Out of the gate using Peter?
Yep. Sell yourself on bad luck fail, Leonard.
Yeah, I don't. I would. So here's the thing, and we've done this before, where we talk about the family. You have to play a little bit of the family card into this, right? So Peter Maivia, the guy at the top of the mountain, is not going to job the guy at the bottom of the mountain as
He's
far as
also,
family.
when you describe who this person is, he's going to be like, I've never met you before in my life.
Yeah. He's like, I have no idea why is this man even here on the Bloodline Wrestling show? This makes no sense to me. Now, I'm sure that there are people out there who probably make a very excellent argument for bad luck fail, but I am not that person. So you can go ahead and have the first win here.
Yeah, Peter Maivia, two-time
Peter.
Hall of Famer. And we have to review one of his matches one day, as we did with Chief J Strongbow.
Right, we definitely should find that. There, again, a lot before the TV era, it's a lot of hard to find some of the classic stuff. We'll see what we can do. Okay, tag match. This is a basic tag match up next. You seed first.
All right. You are going to get, Leonard, 3-minute warning of Rosie and Jamal.
Rosie and Jamal. I have him as Umaga. That's why I was trying to find him.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rosie and Jamal. I have several tag teams here. I'm going to give you. Okay. I'm just going to give them to you. You're going to get Samu and Manu.
Okay.
Who were the Samoan somethings?
Well, let's be specific. They were Samu and Manu. I believe were the original Samoan SWAT team.
Samoan SWAT team. Okay,
no,
yes.
So, well, no. Samu was a member of the original Samoan SWAT team.
Okay.
And Manu, son of Afa, if I'm reading this correctly, was much younger. So he was, the only thing I found for him was that he was in the Legacy stable with Randy Orton. And
yeah, for about half a minute. Yes.
And he was the FCW Southern Heavyweight Champ. That was what I did with my stats is I tried to pick the biggest title that I thought they possessed, and that was the biggest one for him.
For him. Okay. So you get to argue first this time.
All right. Well, I mean, it's 3-minute warning. They were the tag champs at one point. They caused a lot of destruction in a short period of time. I think that actually no, they were not the tag champs. Let me correct myself. Rosie was the tag champ once with
Hurricane, right? Yeah.
So 3-minute warning was not the tag champs, but they did cause. They did leave a big impact in a very short period of time. Specifically, the wedding episode between Billy and Chuck, they were featured in. Every time Eric Bischoff said 3 minutes, they came out. I think everybody would probably agree that, at least on Umaga's part, that he was superior as a solo act. But these two guys were, vicious as a tag team. I thought they were really high impact, and I don't know that the Samoan SWAT team or any version thereof would be able to handle a 3-minute warning.
Okay, I think I'm going to get massacred on this one. I really do. Because they were the more natural team than Samu or Manu. Of course, all these guys are going to have some natural chemistry with each other. But 3-minute warning, I think, was a great gimmick. It's a gimmick that you could only run so far, but it was a good gimmick for what it was at the time. Again, Umaga, I think Rosie's underrated, but Umaga definitely, I think a lot of people consider him pretty well. I'll give you the win here too. And I get the feeling I'm going to lose again in the women's match because I'm going to go with Naomi here.
So, then logically I would go with Nia Jax. Nia Jax doesn't have the greatest reputation backstage, but, she is certainly a notable female talent, and she has won the women's championship twice, and for that matter, I have my notes here on Naomi. She was the WWE SmackDown Women's Champ when it was called that, which is the equivalent. And she was also champion twice. So they've both been around for a while. Naomi probably a little bit longer. She's had a lot of different, uh, you know, characters per se in her career. Funkadactyls, I think she was in, and
Yes, her and Cameron were the Funkadactyls. That's correct.
right. So, but I mean, I hate to pile on here, Leonard, but
Mhm.
I think this is a case of size and power. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
I think here's the thing. I think Naomi is the better wrestler, and she has gotten much better.
Yep.
We talked about her WrestleMania match with Jay Cargill, short, but I think she was fine in that. As you said, it's the size and the power and the fact that they would actually put Jax over in this type of matchup. So again, I can't argue much here, and I'm down 3-0. Let's
Okay.
see if you can clean sweep me. I don't know. That'd be great if you could. More power
Well,
to you.
I think I mean, I'm looking at the Fatal Four Way. This could go in any direction.
Okay. Well, you get to seed first, and then I'll do one, and you do one, and I'll do one back.
All right. So my first is going to be Rocky Johnson.
Okay. Again, I said I really enjoy Rocky Johnson. I'm going to go with one of those young guns I took. I'm going to go with Solo Sikoa here.
All right. And I am going to go with Rikishi.
Okay. And I am going to go with, just to round it out, you're going to get the Tonga Kid or Tama.
All right. Well, I think the weak link here would probably be the Tonga Kid,
Yeah.
Grammy Award winner. Um, but the other three, I think, makes for a very odd assortment of people.
Yes. All three of those guys, I think, have very different styles from each other. Of course, I would. The reason I threw Tama in there is because I'm going to put all my eggs in the Solo Sikoa basket. I think he is the rising star, one of the two rising stars that I picked from the bloodline. He's young, he's up and coming. He's definitely, I would say, the fastest of these three guys. He's probably second to Rikishi in power, although Rocky had a great physique. I think Rocky's offense is too old fashioned. I think Rikishi is a little too big and slow. And I think at this point, I think we need to give a young gun a win here. And I'm going with Solo Sikoa as the winner here. But I do think this could be a cool matchup.
So, here's where I would put some logic to this. I think that in reality, I think that Rikishi would have no issue jobbing to Solo Sikoa.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that, although I do think Solo Sikoa is probably slightly quicker, but I think they're both pretty good bigger guys, in what they can do in the ring. Where I think this would come down to is definitely Rocky Johnson and Solo Sikoa, because I just got done watching not too long ago the Tony Atlas Dark Side of the Ring, and it was very good. And they talked about his relationship with Rocky Johnson and how competitive Rocky Johnson was with Tony Atlas when he saw Tony Atlas was rising in fame at the time. So, knowing that part of his personality, I can see there being a clash there. But I will concede to you on this one because I agree that Rocky Johnson's style might be a little bit more old school and lumbering than Solo Sikoa.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, yeah, and I think if Rocky refused to do the job, Rikishi would get in his face about it.
yeah, so we'll
So
go with Solo Sikoa there.
so we'll go. So I finally got one on the board.
That's right.
All right. So now we have our Pacific Rim title, which I would seed first. And I'm going with my other rising star. I knew I was going to put him here when I did this. I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu.
Well, Leonard, I think that you're going to have a problem
Okay.
because he's going to get Lance Anoa'i.
Okay. Do you want to make a pitch for Lance?
I think Lance speaks for himself, Leonard.
Okay. And Lance tells me that he loses this to Jacob Fatu.
No, you know what? I don't know if Lance speaks for himself. So, Lance Anoa'i, a little bit of history on him. It's interesting, actually. What I have is his biggest title to date was the WXW Ultimate Heavyweight Champ 4 times.
Okay.
He is in NXT, but he has not debuted yet. So that's what makes his kind of career arc right now interesting. Is that I guess he's been injured, so he's there and he's ready to debut at some point, but right now he has not. So it's kind of hard to give him the win here. I need to get rid of him, and I think Jacob Fatu, having just won the U.S. title, why not give him the Pacific Rim title?
Right. I think he deserves it. So up next, we have the 6-man tag. And you seed first on this one.
You are going to get all three of Haku's sons, Tangaloa, Tamatonga, and Hikuleo.
All right. I'm saving Haku, so I don't want to put him in this. But you are getting the Snuka family.
Okay.
So you're getting Jimmy Jr., and Tamina.
Okay. Oh, you're putting Tamina in here.
Yes, Tamina.
Oh, wow.
Tamina.
Okay. Well, all right. So I am not as familiar with Hikuleo, but Tamatonga and Tongaloa have been the tag champs once. So I think that is at least one notch in their corner. And being that the brothers with them, I think the chemistry would be there. The chemistry would certainly be there with the Snuka family, I would assume, as well.
Yes.
I have never been a big fan of Tamina Snuka. I have always thought she was a little bit lumbering in the ring, and they have tried to push her over the years. And then it always comes down to her and Nia Jax. And Nia Jax is always there and always just a little bit better. And I'm not even going to mention the fact that it's one female and two males. Like, I'm going to put that aside because,
we did not say it could be a mixed tag match. And I would, you know what? I would put Tamina against Herculeo any day of the week.
We're going to look up one of his matches as well.
You're going to have to watch one of his to see if I'm blowing smoke up your butt or not on that one.
Jimmy Snuka, this is
separating the art from the artist. That's what you got to do with Jimmy Snuka.
I will do that. Because I was about to go down that avenue, and I won't. Certainly his popularity speaks for itself. He was a star when I was a child, but he had a brief moment there where it was him and Don Morocco had a big feud and all that. Yeah. But I don't think he ever reached the potential he could have. So I'm gonna say, I think Haku's sons take this, Leonard.
I think this might be closer than you think it is. I definitely think the crowd would be with my guys. I think they have good chemistry.
I agree totally with you there.
Yes, I think Tamina shows better. What I want is okay. I will give you the win, but I want a spot where all three of my people do suicide dives out onto your people. I just want that spot.
I think we can arrange that. I think for sure, if this were a WWE thing going on, they would for sure have like a triple.
Yes, or like a triple splash on Herculeo or whatever. But
you're not a fan of Herculeo.
The Snukas will dominate the match, but then Haku's sons will pull out the win.
All right.
I can live with that. All right. Hardcore match. You're getting Haku. I mean, who else are you going to get?
I just realized who I have to give you here, and I was totally not planning on this.
Mm-hmm.
And Leonard, I do apologize, but it's going to be Haku against Yokozuna.
In a hardcore match.
Well, here's the thing. You said a second ago about Jimmy Snuka separating the artist from, maybe his side exploits.
Yes.
We've heard how tough Haku is, and they've tried to portray that over the years. He's a tag champ once with Andre the Giant. So, certainly people know who he is. But, I mean, hardcore match, Yokozuna, I don't know. I mean, if this were See, here's the thing. If you could argue, well, if it's a hardcore match, then Haku could just rip somebody's jaw off, or just like,
Right. The fact that it's a hard, and Haku has been pushed as a legitimate badass, particularly when he was in WCW.
right.
And the fact that this is a hardcore match, Yokozuna, even at his prime, could move, but was very heavy.
Yeah.
He's not getting in and out of the ring. He's not getting chairs from underneath the ring. He's not like clearing the announce table. He is not doing these things.
What did they call him? Oh, what is it? The Great Coquina?
Great Coquina was his original name back in. He was with AWA like 89-90, right before they closed the doors.
Yeah, he was super.
And then he came over. I believe he originally debuted as the Great Coquina in WWE. Like it was like a dark interview on a Superstars, and then they pivoted from there. But I mean, Yokozuna. If this was Yokozuna Haku straight up, I think I could lean towards Yoko, but given the fact that Haku is so tough, so badass, and the fact that Yoko's inability to get plunder and to use plunder, I think gives us a Haku.
I'm gonna go with you here. I think this would be fun. Like, to me, this is like one of the more exciting matches that we put on the card.
Yes, I think this would be it'd be really fun. I think it'd be a heck of a bout.
And I'll bet you you know what, here's why I'm going to go with you, because I'll bet you if you asked any member of the Anoa'i family, they would probably pick Haku as well.
Right. Against anybody. They were like, no, none of us want to face him.
Yeah. Right. So, we'll go with Haku.
All right. So, 4-3. I got to pull out these last two. I don't know. Tag titles. You get the seed first.
It's going to be Jimmy and Jay, the Usos.
All right. They're getting Afa and Sika.
Wow, what a match this would be in all seriousness.
Yeah.
I mean, two classic tag teams here, the Wild Samoans against the Usos. Definitely two different, far apart generations. I have to, we could compare tag team champion title wins. But I don't necessarily know that you have to jump right to that. I think that this comes down to athleticism, and Jimmy and Jay, whether or not I want to, brag about it or, flaunt it. I think they are and have proven to be one of the best tag teams ever, or at least in the conversation, So, the Wild Samoans, they're the ones that got this started, right? The family tree really branches off from them. So I think that this would be a great match. But if we were going with like peak Usos against peak Wild Samoans, I think that the Usos would take it.
The only real argument I can make here is I think Jimmy and Jay would be willing to job to Afa and Sika. They would be willing to put over, the guys who started it all. But on the other hand, I think Afa and Sika would also be good enough to want to put over Jimmy and Jay in this situation. So you get that. And you're right. I think Afa and Sika, they wrestled a very specific style based on what their character and their gimmick was. I think both of them were probably way better wrestlers than they ever got to show. But again, the modern athleticism of Jimmy and Jay and the great chemistry of Jimmy and Jay. Again, I agree with you. I think this would be a great match, and I hate to give this to you, but I'm gonna give this one to you as well.
All right. Well, that would mean our main event. Although there is a little bit of a asterisk to it, I suppose.
Could be, but I think we know what we're going with here.
I mean, it will be The Rock versus Roman Reigns, and in The Rock's corner, I'm going to put Ava Raine.
And I have LA Smooth in Roman Reigns' corner.
I forgot.
Because I figured you were going to give Ava to The Rock. So I kept LA, because if we're talking who's better at ringside, I think I have the better second.
You do, and I'm gonna discuss this first. I think that obviously this was a match that was very close to happening. in real life, and still could, I suppose, happen. Um, and it didn't. They kind of pivoted away from that and went towards Cody and Roman Reigns Part Two instead, which was probably the better play. But Leonard, I am gonna go with Roman Reigns here because, and I don't think there needs to be a debate here. Do I think that The Rock is the bigger star? Absolutely, yes. That there's no question about that. Roman Reigns' record speaks for himself. I mean, over 1,400 days straight as champion, as well. I'm going with Roman Reigns because The Rock has already proven on multiple occasions that he wants to put Roman Reigns over.
Yes.
That is why I'm going with him here because I don't think that there would be much argument on in term even politically and like who is going to win this.
Right.
I think The Rock would be very much willing to let Roman Reigns win, and I think either person winning here would be just fine for the crowd at home. But if you have Bloodline Roman Reigns, which I consider to be the peak Roman Reigns, I think that the crowd would like that anyway.
Yeah, the only thing I would add here is I think Roman Reigns is a bit of a better wrestler than The Rock and has been better for a longer period. Pretty much the Stone Cold trilogy from WrestleMania 15 to 19, I think, was the peak of The Rock's wrestling abilities. And Roman has been better for a longer period of time. So since I don't have to argue much, I will not, but you get the win 5-4 overall.
Well, this turned out to be a little bit closer than you might have thought initially.
Yeah, I mean, I started out in the whole 3-0 and managed to fight back.
I did not think I was going to be able to get all three of Haku's sons, and when I did, I was like, "Oh man, I didn't know if I was going to win or not, but I was like, that's an easy got for the 3-on-3."
Well, I like throwing the Snuka family. I had that idea for the 6-man before we started.
That would be a fun. I think this would be a really fun card, honestly.
It would be.
And we will come back with some of the match reviews of some of these people that we don't know.
Yeah, we need to look at some stuff. Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what we come up with for the next Unstable Stables. Maybe something a little bit smaller next time because we've done some 2 huge ones back to back. But let us know what you think of the Samoan Dynasty and everything that they've accomplished. A lot of title wins, a lot of history, and history that is continuing to grow. So check out our other videos as well. Please hit the like button, subscribe to our content. We are available wherever you listen to podcasts as well. For Leonard, my name is Chad, and we will see you next time.